Your latest stimulus check update. Biden says it's time for U.S. troops to leave Afghanistan. My name is QUiNTiN Banks, and we'll get right into this topic. If you guys got questions or concerns anytime during this topic, feel free to drop those questions and concerns below. We are still hosting that giveaway towards the end of the month, so you guys want to stay tuned because I will be giving it out a little more details regarding that giveaway. But let's get right to this. Now, announcing withdrawal by September 11th, President says U.S. can go on expecting a different result. You guys, drop the comments below. Let me know how you guys feel about this. President Biden said he will withdraw American troops from the country by September 11th, marking the second time in less than 2 years that an American president has set a date to end the nation's involvement in the Afghanistan conflict, the longest war in U.S. history. So this is the longest war in U.S. history, and Joe Biden is like, we're gonna pull everybody out by September 11th. Now, I know both sides of the fence, right? We know we got the people that's like, good, they should never been to war this long, things are prolonged, things are just getting out of control, right? Because everybody's different. You may even have some family member, brother, cousin that's in the war, and trust me, those experiences, I understand. So let's get right into this. Now, President Biden said he will withdraw the remaining American forces from Afghanistan by September 11th, telling the nation it's time for American troops to come home, and declaring he doesn't want his successor to inherit the long-running conflict. So he wants to end it all. He just basically wants to say, I don't want to run this out longer than it has to, And it seems like that's Joe Biden's look on things when it comes to, we talked about the Child Tax Act. We also talked about the education. We all know how you feel about colleges and whatnot, tuition. So the norm, And definitely it's not normal. I've had a lot of debates and people telling me, yo, Q, what he's doing is not normal. I said, I totally understand. It's different. But it looks like he has a different direction. He has a different direction. But he continues to say, we cannot continue the cycle of extending or expanding our military presence in Afghanistan, hoping to create ideal conditions for the withdrawal and expecting a different result. Mr. Biden said Wednesday, I'm now the fourth United States president to preside over American troop presence in Afghanistan. 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, I will not pass this responsibility on to a fifth. The president said that over the last decade, since May 2011, death of Osama bin Laden, America's reason for being in Afghanistan had grown increasingly unclear. He said the U.S. had achieved its goals of preventing attacks on a nation from being planned in Afghanistan, and that the U.S. must shift its efforts towards threats coming from terrorist groups operating in Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. War in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking, Mr. Biden said. We were attacked. We went to war with clear goals. We achieved those objectives. Bin Laden is dead, is degraded in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's time to end the war forever. How do you guys feel about that? Is it time to end the war or what? What do you guys think? Now, Mr. Biden said he would withdraw from roughly 3,500 troops starting May 1st, and all forces would be out of the country by September 11th, the 20-year anniversary of the terrorist attacks. Wow, so they're kind of playing on that as well. 2011, and he's looking like to get everybody out. September 11th. I said 2011, September 11th. Now, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Wednesday that the Pentagon was working on plans to reposition American forces in the region, but provided no details. Officials have said basing rights and other agreements could be made with nearby countries, which are under consideration, along with other countries that are further away. Mr. Biden spoke in the treaty room in the White House. Former President George W. Bush announced strikes in Afghanistan in 2001. Mr. Biden said he had spoken with Mr. Bush. In his decision, Mr. Bush declined to comment. After the speech, Mr. Biden visited Section 60 of Arlington National Cemetery, where troops killed during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were buried, telling reporters that the decision to leave Afghanistan was absolutely clear. Other administration officials Wednesday warned of the consequences of a full withdrawal before Mr. Biden spoke. Now, when the time comes for the U.S. military to withdraw, the U.S. government's ability to collect and act on threats will diminish. Mr. Burns told the Senate Intelligence Committee that simply a fact. He also said U.S. intelligence agencies will retain some capabilities and generate others to track and check the terrorist threats. Now, White House Press Secretary Jen said Mr. Biden takes advice from the CIA director, but she said terrorism threats have changed and the U.S. needs to approach how we look at counterterrorism through the prism of what the threats are in 2021. All right, guys, we're in the middle of this video, and I do want to let you guys know that I'm doing this giveaway at the end of the month. If you guys want to be entered, if you go to my channel, you'll see a playlist that says giveaway. If you want to be entered, it's very, very simple. It's very, very easy. If you want to be entered in that giveaway, make sure you like and subscribe. That's the easiest way to get into the giveaway. I'll be doing these giveaways every single month. So yeah, let's get right back to this, because Mr. Biden also spoke with a former President Barack Obama, who issued a statement praising the withdrawal plans, adding, "It's time to recognize that we have accomplished all that we can military, and that it's time to bring our remaining troops home." So Mr. Biden, Mr. Obama, they're on the same boat when it comes to this issue. They're like, bring our American troops home. What do you guys feel about that? Should we continue to go to war? You know, are we like beating a dead horse? Like, what do you guys think? Now, this announcement marks the second time in less than 2 years that an American president has set a date to end the nation's involvement of the Afghanistan conflict. Now, before the week's announcement, Biden administration had indicated that the U.S. wouldn't meet that deadline, in part because of rising violence challenges to get all troops and equipment out by that time. Instead, U.S. forces will begin leaving next month, the administration said, at a pace set by military commanders. As I mentioned, guys, drop the comments below. When it comes to your third stimulus check and fourth stimulus check, I will be doing an update later on today. So if you guys want that update, just stay tuned, stay out to my channel. Drop the comments below. Let me know how you guys feel about this. Should we go to war? Should we just leave it at like the war is done? You know what I mean? We did what we had to do. You know, we accomplished all the goals that we had at that time when it comes to this war in Afghanistan. Make sure everything is updated. If you guys got new bank account information, make sure that's updated as well, guys. You guys want to make sure everything is accurate. That way, when that time comes, there's no holdups. There's nothing that's delaying that, because that seems to be a big problem with a million Americans. Literally, 1 million of Americans have not received their third stimulus check based on the fact of their account information was not correct. Now, if that account information is correct, then of course you'll be able to receive it, and you're actually going to receive it the same way you received your third stimulus check, your second stimulus check. If you guys received a mail check, guys, just make sure all the information is correct, because a lot of people have been receiving those mail checks based on the false information or incorrect information. So at the end of the day, make sure everything is correct. Make sure everything is right. When I mean that, I'm talking addresses, bank statements, bank account information, you know, your address, all that good stuff, right? So just make sure everything is correct, because it's your money, and I don't want anything to hold up from your money, but you need your money, you know what I mean? So if you guys got questions, feel free to drop them below. You know, when it comes to the IRS and child tax credits, this is very important. You know, Joe Biden, he was pushing for this. He wanted this to actually get passed. He was actually pushing for this. Now, this looks like we're going to be going in the right direction, because he's focusing on this. This got passed.